Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about the Washington Commanders meeting with safety slash cornerback Brian Branch, offensive lineman Osiris Torrence, and also meeting with cornerback Joey Porter from Penn State. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Also hit that like button and that notification bell as well. We're getting closer and closer to NFL draft season, a little over around 3 weeks from draft season, and now every day we're getting more and more top 30 visits for the Washington Commanders. So we're going to talk about that, and today it'll be Brian Branch, Osiris Torrence, and also cornerback Joey Porter. So none of these guys really are surprised that they're meeting with. Like, so far, I made a video talking about Hendon Hooker yesterday. If you guys want to go ahead and watch that one might be a little bit more of a surprise because, you know, we might not take a quarterback, and definitely probably not in the first round. But sorry about that. But these guys right here, Brian Branch, others, you know, these are positions of need, and, you know, somewhere in the Commanders draft range, you know, 16 might be early for some of these guys that we're going to be talking about today, but they could trade back and get some of them. So let's first start out with Brian Branch. So top 30 visit with the Commanders, also a couple other teams like the Texans, Raiders, Vikings, Lions, Falcons, and a private workout with the Bills. Brian Branch is a very interesting player. He's very versatile. You know, listed as a corner here, but a lot of people have him as a safety. Can, you know, for the Commanders, could play that Buffalo nickel position. So he's about 6 foot, 190 pounds. Played at Alabama, so you know he's going to be a technician, junior, and had like 4 interceptions over the last 3 years. So not amazing ball production, but not terrible. The combine numbers weren't great, and that's why like some people thought he was going to go in the first round before the combine, and then after some people are thinking he's going to be in the second round. I think it'll probably be like anywhere from 25 to 45, maybe 30. Like, he has a pretty big draft range. Maybe like 25 to 40 is his range, somewhere in there. So the Commanders take him at 16 would probably be too early, but they probably wouldn't be able to get him in the second unless they traded back up. And this is a guy I want to read the draft overview on him. So they say his NFL comparison: Minka Fitzpatrick, who also played for Alabama under Nick Saban. They said plug and play defensive back with every ingredient necessary to become a high performing starter early in his career. Branch's primarily handled nickel coverage at Alabama, but has the range and instincts for single high or split safety looks. He's quick, fast, and strong with the ability to match up with shifty slots, bigger possession receiver, and pass catching tight end. He's urgent and has a mind for the game, and yeah, you guys kind of see we're getting at with him. So again, they say it could be one of the safest picks in the draft. So he'll be a very versatile player, and you know he's learned from the best in Nick Saban at Alabama. They've developed some really good DBs, and I think it would be a good pick, not necessarily at 16, but maybe later on. They have the sources tell us he's smart and competitive and way stronger than you expect. He could come in and become a top player quickly. Some of the weaknesses: could use tighter route squeeze relative to down and distance. Occasionally outranked as a run defender from the slot. Not many weaknesses compared to his strengths. Good football IQ, good range, fast, fluid, and very strong for his size. Plays faster than his 40 time. Pedals and transitions with smooth, agile feet. Let's see, reads receivers' eyes. So overall, pretty good player. And yeah, 4 interceptions over the last 3 years. Not amazing, but solid. And you guys can see some of the other stats here. So for me, 16's too early, but you trade back into the first round, and he's a guy that will be able to probably he could play slot corner for you or that Buffalo nickel position in his rookie year before you truly figure out what you want to do with him, because he could play safety again, maybe eventually turn into an outside corner if Kendall Fuller leaves. Like, there's a lot of different spots he could go with, that you could put him at. For me, though, take him late first, or let's say you trade back in the first, but not late first, maybe like 21, 22, you get some more draft picks. Let's say you take an O-lineman, then maybe in the second round, you use that 47th pick that you have and one of the picks that you got in the trade back and trade up and take Brian Branch, let's say at 35. That for me would be a good pick, and you get O-line in the first, and you get a corner slash safety, very versatile player in the second round. So that for me would be a very, very good scenario for the Washington Commanders. So that's the kind of Brian Branch talk. Again, told you guys his range, probably in that 25, maybe 30 to 40, 45. So big range, but probably not going to go early in the first round. Next one, this one was reported today by John Keim, other guys, but confirmed. So Tom Pelissero says Florida O-lineman Osiris Torrence visiting with the Steelers today and the Commanders tomorrow. Per source, Saibo is likely a first-round pick. Washington picks 16th and 17th. And Keim says Commanders want to continue beefing up the O-line. Primary focus. Right player has to be there. So I think for Torrence, it might be a little bit early at 16. I think that's what I kind of gathered from listening to Keim and other podcasts. I think it would be another trade back scenario where they take him. But if they don't think they can get him in, the mid-20s or whatever, maybe they take him at 16. I think that might be a little bit too early for a guard. I'm not saying you don't take a guard in the first round, but it's got to be an elite guard, and I don't know if he is that guy. If it's late first round or second round, I'm all for it, but 16's it's kind of the same thought process I go with, in terms of Bijan Robinson, why I don't really want him at 16, just because of the positional value, and you can get those guys later on at a good price, and it's a little bit worse for running back in terms of why I don't want the Commanders to draft him at 16 is because they're more set at running back than offensive line. So for me, Torrence, I'm probably passing on him unless we can get him late first or early second. And I really wish we could just draft a tackle, move Wiley inside, and your offensive line is Charles Leno, and then Cosme and Wiley inside, Chase Roulier at center, maybe Nick Gates, depending on how Chase Roulier is doing, and then you got your new starting guy, your draft pick at right tackle. So whether it's Paris Johnson, Darnell Wright, one of those guys, that's what I would do. That's why I didn't really love the Andrew Wiley signing once I figured out he's playing at tackle. And if he's a great tackle, that's great, or not even great. If he's an average to above average tackle, that's good because they got him for cheap. But that's my take on the situation. So Torrence, 6'5", 330, and combine results 5'3", 140-yard dash, not really good. 23.5-inch vertical. I mean, again, you got to keep in mind these are offensive lineman numbers, but athleticism score 13th at the combine, but he's the consensus number one guard. Most people think he's the number one guard unless you consider Peter Skornowski or whatever, however you pronounce his name. If you consider him as a guard, okay, then he's probably the top guard. And yeah, he'll come in and be able to start for you right away. And I'll just read the overview, and then that's really it. So, broad guard prospect whose physical limitations are balanced by his feel for the job and ability to use his size in his favor. He's not a natural bender, but he is forcing engulf and push rather than leverage and drive as a run blocker. But he's solid at neutralizing the man across from him. He uses his hands well to jab and maintain feel for the rush, but quick interior rushers will, with the well-developed counters, could be too much for his limited foot quickness to handle without help. He projects as a future starter for downhill offenses who covet size over athleticism. So interesting right there. He doesn't have many penalties. He did pretty well against Jalen Carter and got good size, and he struggles against athletic guys. And, I think going up against, I guess he's not going to be going up against Chase Young, Montez Sweat, but going up against Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne might help him out there a little bit. But that's just another potential guy for the Commanders. 16, I could see them taking him at 16, but I think that might be a little bit too early for a guard, but who knows with the Commanders. Next guy is Joey Porter. Let me find the tweet. The Washington Commanders are meeting, or I guess they met with cornerback Joey Porter on Monday. This is one where I think the meeting is very, very helpful because Joey Porter is a guy that is very talented, and I believe is a top 4 corner in this class. I think Gonzalez and Witherspoon are over him. I think Gonzalez is the top corner, but some people would say that Banks might be better than Joey Porter. I don't really know if I believe that. I think that's close. But for the Commanders, that might be true because Joey Porter is mostly a man corner guy, and the Commanders play mostly zone. So if he could adapt to it, we'll see. But that's why I think meeting with him is very, very important. It doesn't mean they're interested in him, and it doesn't mean they're not. It just means they really want to figure out who this guy is, and A, is he going to be able to fit on this defense? Because he's a guy that they could draft at 16. They're not going to trade back and get him unless it's a few spots. His range is probably like 12 to 20, 22. So it's right in the Commanders' range where it would not be a reach. It would be good value, and I would not mind drafting him at 16 if you believe he fits your scheme, and I don't know if that's the case. John Keim talked about the other day, or replied to a tweet, and he says he doesn't know. He doesn't know if they think he fits a scheme, and I think that's exactly why they're meeting with him. Obviously, to make sure everything with the medicals is good, but also figure out like how comfortable he is in these other schemes. Stats, the ball production isn't amazing, which I don't like. 1 interception in 4 years, but that's not everything. 5 or 8 pass breakups in 2022, 4 in 2020 to 2021 as well. So he still is able to prevent completions, which is good as well. And he's got good size, 6'2", 198 pounds. So, and his combine numbers were okay, not great compared to like Deonte Banks and Christian Gonzalez. Banks, his stock's going up. Maybe by the time draft comes around, people will be projecting him in that 14 to 20 range. But right now, he's a little bit behind Joey Porter, at least in terms of the national media. But he could be catching up. But I like Banks for sure. If we could trade back and somehow get Banks, that would be amazing. But any of the top corners at 16, I would not mind at all. And if we somehow traded back and got Porter or Banks, that would be absolutely amazing. So that's it for the video. Just want to talk about those 3 players and the possibility of them going to the Commanders. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.